Welcome to the Shorten Anime channel. Today we'll dive into the latest episode of The Great Ruler. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to support the channel. The Great Ruler, Season 1, Episode 29. The gigantic black rock that was in front of Mu Chen was approximately dozens of zhang tall. The zhang is a customary Chinese unit of length. There were shattered holes on it, yet it was particularly smooth as if was eroded by magma before. Mu Chen's palms lightly touched the gigantic black rock. He could feel the ancient copper piece within his palms becoming abnormally hot. Could the Nine Netherworld Bird be inside? An idea flashed through Mu Chen's mind and his eyes twinkled. Then he looked at Liu Mubai, who was on the other side, and clenched his fist. A dark black spiritual energy surged through his palms, and the limitless death seal emerged on the surface of his fist. Mu Chen drew his arm back towards him before blasting out a fierce punch. The sounds of the winds breaking broke out from the short distance. It smashed heavily onto the gigantic black rock as the arm was wrapped by spiritual energy. Bang! Mu Chen's fist landed on the gigantic black rock, and a deep sound rang out. The giant rock shuddered for a bit. Then Mu Chen was able to see cracks quietly spreading out from behind the fist. Pieces of rubble continued to fall down endlessly from the gigantic rock. The speed of how fast the cracks spread accelerated, and it soon filled the enormous rock. Seeing this scene, Mu Chen took a step backwards carefully. After that punch, he had already discovered that the inside of the rock was hollow. The gigantic rock continued to tremble, and pieces of rubble constantly fell down. Just when Mu Chen was staring at it, his eyes narrowed. This is because he saw a black light emitting out from the cracks of the gigantic rock. The commotion over here also attracted Liu Mubai's attention. He also stared in surprise at the trembling rock, and a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. Black light shot out from the cracks in the rock. A wave of fluctuation spread out, and the gigantic rock exploded open after a banging sound. The rubble shot out, and a few crossed through Mu Chen's body. However, he remained motionless and stared at the location where the rubble shot out from. At that location, the gigantic black rock had already erupted, and a dark black light quietly appeared as it floated in the bottom of the crater. As the light floated in the air, a 1 zhang tall black egg seemed to be inside the light. The black egg was smooth and completely black. On the surface of the egg shell, there were a couple of exceptionally obscure and mysterious engravings on it. The engraving seemed to be a mysterious black bird spreading its wings out, and it protected the egg. Mu Chen's eyes twinkled when he saw the shining black egg. He hesitated for a moment, and joy filled his eyes. From the image within the copper piece, the Nine Netherworld Bird seemed to have turned into a black egg and landed here in the end. Could it be the one in front of him? When Mu Chen saw the black egg, Liu Mubai was also aware of it. Greed instantly gushed out from his eyes, and he charged straight for the black egg. Seeing this, Mu Chen's eyes flashed. However, he did not recklessly rush over. He did not believe that it would be that easy to obtain the Nine Netherworld Bird. Liu Mubai quickly approached the black egg, but just when he was about to enter a couple of dong distance away from the black egg, a black light blasted out from the surface of the egg. Bang! The black light fiercely bombarded Liu Mubai's body. His originally moving body was shot backwards, and he landed heavily on the ground. He could not help but spit out fresh blood. After the black egg caused Liu Mubai to fly backwards, it seems to be activated, and a black light wrapped around its surroundings. Then it slowly flew up to the sky above the crater. Seeing this, Mu Chen hurriedly rushed out of the crater and appeared on the peak of the volcano. The black egg finally suspended itself on the sky above the crater. Black lights emitted out and caused the spiritual energy within the world to become violent. This commotion soon attracted everybody's attention. Mu Feng and Liu Qingtian both retreated backwards and stared bewilderedly at the mysterious black egg that appeared. Dad, the black egg is formed by the Nine Netherworld Bird. Hurry and take it away. Liu Mubai also helplessly followed him above and let out a cry. The Nine Netherworld Bird? Liu Qingtian's eyes narrowed and ecstasy flowed out from within his heart. His body turned into a blurry figure as he charged like a lightning towards the mysterious black egg above the crater. Seeing this, Mu Feng did not want to fall behind and immediately followed. The two of them were extremely fast and charged to the crater in an instant. They both extended their palms and wanted to capture the mysterious black egg. Dad, don't! Mu Chen's eyes remained fixed on the mysterious black egg. However, he suddenly remembered the skeleton that he met within the Black Eerie Swamp. His heart was suddenly filled with anxiety and he immediately shouted out. Mu Feng, who was about to seize the mysterious black egg, heard this cry and was slightly surprised. His eyes twinkled and he gritted his teeth. Then he actually forced himself to stop his body from moving. Although this was a rare opportunity, he still suppressed the impulse he had within his heart because of the trust he had for Mu Chen. On the other hand, Liu Qingtian let out a sneer when Mu Feng stopped and touched the mysterious egg with a finger. Just when he was able to take it for himself, his face suddenly changed. Fizz! A strange sound came out from the mysterious black egg. Liu Qingtian's finger, which touched the mysterious black egg, actually quickly became charred and an enormous pain emitted out from his finger. This sudden change of events made Liu Qingtian's expression change. He struggled frantically but found that his finger was stuck to the black egg as if it was glued on. No matter how he struggled, he was unable to get rid of it. Moreover, what made him terrified was that the spiritual energy within his body actually quickly flowed into the black egg through his finger. Damn it! Liu Qingtian let out an angry howl and his eyes turned ruthless. He raised his blade and actually cut off the finger that was in direct contact with the mysterious black egg. The finger dropped down and blood spattered out. Liu Qingtian endured the pain from it and desperately retreated backwards. All this events happened in an instant. Mu Feng was the closest and he clearly saw the scene. He immediately trembled as he stared at the mysterious egg. This item wasn't a weakling. It was fortunate that he was stopped by Mu Chen earlier. Otherwise, he would probably pay an even greater price. Big brother! Seeing the desperately retreating Liu Qingtian, Liu Song and the others hurried over towards him. Their eyes twitched when they saw that Liu Qingtian's finger was chopped off. Be careful, this damn thing is a bit strange. Liu Qingtian hurriedly circulated his spiritual energy, stopped the blood at his chopped finger, and said with a grim expression. Liu Zong and the others nodded. It seems that it wasn't that easy to obtain the Nine Netherworld Bird. Mu Feng also landed at this moment and reunited with the Mu territory's men. He patted Mu Chen's shoulder and said with a bitter smile, It's lucky you warned me quickly. Mu Chen's eyes turned serious. His eyes remained fixed at the mysterious black egg above the crater. Then he said softly, Dad, be careful. I feel that something is wrong. Mu Feng also nodded his head. The Nine Netherworld Bird wasn't any ordinary spiritual beast. It was a super existence that was ranked 11th on the Beast Records Earth ranking. Compared to the Nine Netherworld Bird, his Dragonfire Bird was worth nothing. The atmosphere suddenly became strange. The two groups of men that were originally fighting in a life-and-death battle, while refusing to let the other get the slightest lead, suddenly did not dare to act. They only stared vigilantly and greedily at the mysterious black egg. A breeze blew in from afar and relaxed the tensed atmosphere slightly. Mu Chen's eyes were also fixed at the mysterious black egg. However, his eyes suddenly turned cold. This is because he discovered that the mysterious engravings on the mysterious black egg suddenly began to light up. A strange fluctuation was quietly born from within and emitted outwards. The mysterious black egg floated above the crater of the black volcano. At this moment, a couple of the obscure light engravings gradually lit up on the surface of the black egg. As these light engravings emerged, everybody was able to feel that the spiritual energy within the world suddenly became extremely violent. Mu Feng and the others all looked solemnly at this scene. He could feel the restless movements of the spiritual energy within the world. A hint of unease surged through his eyes. This situation was slightly beyond his expectation. From the image brought up by the copper piece, the Nine Netherworld Bird should have been in an extremely weak state after failing its evolution. However, from the way the mysterious egg made Liu Qingtian cut his finger off, it seems that this item was not something they could just grab as they thought. Be careful, Mu Feng said in a low voice. If the situation seems off, we will immediately retreat. We'll give up on taking the Nine Netherworld Bird. Zhou Ye and the others were slightly taken aback when they heard this. However, seeing Mu Feng's serious expression, they nodded their heads. It was apparent that they noticed that something was off. Mu Chen's gaze was also fixed tightly at the mysterious black egg in the sky. The Nine Netherworld Bird was too powerful. Although they did not know what level the Nine Netherworld Bird had reached before it failed its evolution, it definitely far surpassed the strength of a spirit stage. And the Nine Netherworld Bird which possessed this strength would probably be something that nobody could subdue even if it only possessed a couple of % of its power from before. Not that far away, the Liu territory's men also stared at the mysterious black egg above the sky of the volcano, as if they met a great enemy. Liu Qingtian's face turned extremely grim. On the other hand, Liu Mubai's face was turning red and blue alternately. If it wasn't for his words earlier, Liu Qingtian probably wouldn't have frantically snatched it. Moreover, in the critical moment, Mu Chen decided to shout something completely different than him and save Mu Feng. After comparing their actions, his handsome face reddened and was filled with hatred. "Big brother, are you all right?" Liu Zong and Liu Ming stared at where Liu Qingtian's finger was cut off and asked with concern. If anything was to happen to Liu Qingtian, it would be a severe blow for the Liu territory. Liu Qingtian shook his head with a grim expression. His eyes remained fixed at the sky and did not blink at all. "All of you should stare at it. I don't want to return empty-handed this time," Liu Qingtian said in a gloomy voice. When the Liu territory's men heard this, their hearts jumped and they hurriedly nodded. Under the intense gaze from both groups, the mysterious black egg's light engravings gradually brightened up in the sky. Moreover, it followed a sense of rhythm. It would light up and darken as if it was breathing. Fizz! As the light engravings brightened up, the mysterious black egg suddenly trembled. Then under the surprised gazes of everyone, black light erupted out from the black egg. The sky instantly turned dark at this moment. It seemed to have caused the day to turn into night. This change made everybody's faces change. Just when the darkness enshrouded the location, a clear cry resounded out in the world. This clear cry seemed to have turned into a sound wave and spread outwards before it vanished at the end of their visions. Mu Chen stared at the black light that enshrouded the sky. He suddenly jumped, and a hint of unease appeared. "Something's wrong!" Mu Feng's face suddenly changed. He gripped his fist tightly and let out a horrified expression. "The spiritual energy within our body are rapidly disappearing." After he said this, Zhou Ye and the others' expression changed. They hurriedly inspected their body. As expected, the spiritual energy within their body was vanishing abnormally. It was as if something was sucking away the spiritual energy within their bodies forcibly. After hearing Mu Feng's cry, Mu Chen's heart jumped. He was only at the spiritual movement stage late phase, so he was not that sensitive to the feeling of losing spiritual energy. Instead, Mu Feng and the others, with their spirit stage, would sense it the most. "It's because of the black egg," Mu Chen said in a low voice. At this moment, the mysterious black egg was the only thing that could explain this strange scene. Not far away, the Liu territory's men also entered in a commotion, and sounds of exclamation rang out endlessly. It was evident that they detected this strange situation. "Territory Lord, what should we do?" Duan Wei urgently asked. If this continues, the spiritual energy within their bodies would completely be exhausted. How would they leave the Black Eerie Swamp then? Mu Feng's eyes changed rapidly, and he gritted his teeth. "Leave! We're retreating!" This situation here was too strange. Mu Feng understood that the trip this time was too recklessly. Just what sort of existence is the Nine Netherworld Bird? Even if it failed to evolve and was in an extremely weak state, how was it possible for them to easily get a bargain with their strength? At this moment, there was no use being greedy anymore. No matter how precious the treasure was, it would be useless if they could not protect their lives. Therefore, Mu Feng decisively acted and led the others away. Bang! However, just when Mu Feng let out the order for retreat, the ground seemed to tremble like an earthquake. "Territory Lord, look quickly!" A voice filled with horror suddenly rang out. Mu Feng, Mu Chen, and the others hastily looked up and stared behind them. They saw various lights emerge from within the Black Eerie Swamp. The lights were all powerful spiritual beasts. In the lead, there were at least a dozen of high-ranked spiritual beasts. These spiritual beasts were rushing over crazily towards this direction. The scene of dozens of beasts rushing over made Duan Wei and the others turn pale. Mu Chen could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. What is this situation? Could it be that all the spiritual beasts within the Black Eerie Swamp would rush over? "Hurry and dodge!" Mu Feng's eyes twitched. He suppressed the horror within his heart and led them to a cliff. Against such amounts of beasts rushing over, even a spirit stage powerhouse would have to hide. When Mu Feng and the others hurriedly gave way to the beasts, the Liu territory also discovered this scene. Many of the men felt powerless in their legs. This formation was definitely too terrifying. Liu Qingtian was also shocked as well. Luckily, he did not lose his cool and brought his men away. They did not dare to appear in front of the beasts rushing over. The two groups were separated by some distance and did not dare to make a sound. They carefully crouched down and stared at the group of spiritual beasts charging over from a distance. Mu Chen fixed his gaze on the spiritual beasts as they charged over. His eyes instantly became serious, and he noticed that signs of madness appeared in the spiritual beast's eyes. It seems that something mysterious had caused them to turn berserk. Mu Chen frowned and finally thought back to the spirit bug user's skeleton. He became even more alert to the Nine Netherworld Bird that he never met. It seems that it was not simple at all. The herd of beasts brought a trail of smoke and charged into the black basin. The dense bones that existed there earlier were squashed under their foot. However, they ignored it and charged in the direction of the mysterious egg above the crater. Mu Chen stared at the herd of beasts and watched as they charged into the basin towards the mysterious black egg. Then his eye narrowed when he witnessed the black bird light engraving on the mysterious black egg, gently fluttering its wings, as if it resurrected itself. The originally dark sky turned even darker again. Another clear cry emitted out like a black sound wave again. This sound wave was as gentle as the flow of water, and it spread over towards the berserk herd of beasts galloping over. The heaven and earth seemed to have become completely silent at this moment. Mu Chen fiercely sucked in a breath of air. A hint of astonishment surged out from his black eyes. This was because he saw the spiritual beasts instantly freeze when they were affected by the black sound wave, whether it was a high-rank spiritual beast or low-rank spiritual beast. Then their flesh would be stripped apart and reveal dense bones in the form of running over as it stood within the basin. Mu Chen exchanged glances with Mu Feng. They both saw the shock within each other's eyes. Afterwards, they thought about the white bones that they saw earlier. So the white bones appeared like this? In other words, it wasn't the first time that this situation occurred. The black sound wave gently rippled and emitted outwards from the black basin. As the black sound wave passed through, all the spiritual beasts would instantly turn into dense bones. Not even a single trace of blood existed on the white bones. Mu Chen and the others stared at this scene, stunned. Then they shivered as this scene was too abnormal. A dense light would surge out from the spiritual beasts that turned into bones and form a light rainbow as it surged through the sky towards the mysterious black egg above the crater. And while facing the dense light rainbow filled with spiritual energy, the mysterious black egg also released a black light. Then it sucked in all of the light rainbows like a bottomless pit. Light rainbows endlessly rise up from within the spiritual beast bodies. Under that brilliance, they devoted their lives. Furthermore, the most horrifying thing was that the spiritual beast would watch this terrifying scene occur without any panic. A hint of craziness was within their scarlet eyes. It was as if they were flies flying into a fire, yet they seemed to feel glory in their actions. This strange contrast made Mu Chen shiver. Then he stared at the mysterious black egg that was endlessly sucking in the light rainbows within the sky. This method had far surpassed the intelligence of all the spiritual beasts that Mu Chen had seen before. It was even more cruel and cunning than a human. That black egg is probably formed by the Nine Netherworld Bird. Mu Feng's face became serious as he stared in fear at the black egg, absorbing many rainbows in the sky. The spiritual beasts in the black eerie swamp seemed to be providing an enormous amount of spiritual energy to the Nine Netherworld Bird. Mu Chen softly spoke. Mu Feng also nodded and said, "Moreover, it's not the first time that a scene similar to this has occurred. Over these years, the numerous spiritual beasts in the black eerie swamp had turned into white bones and devoted all their spiritual energy to the Nine Netherworld Bird. The spiritual beasts in the black eerie swamp." Mu Feng's face turned strange as he said, "It seems that it was raised by the Nine Netherworld Bird. It will let them grow and fatten up before the Nine Netherworld Bird slaughters it to extract their spiritual energy." On the side, Donghua and the others all shuddered when they heard this. If it was done by a human, they wouldn't be too surprised. However, this scenario was planned by a spiritual beast that was considerably powerful. And perhaps the copper piece that we obtained was also its intention. It used that to lure a few greedy humans over to absorb the spiritual energy away from our bodies, Mu Feng said with a bitter smile and said, "This time, it might not think highly about us. Otherwise, I feel that we would end up no better than the spiritual beasts." Zhouya's face turned pale. If this was all planned out by the Nine Netherworld Bird, then it would be too terrifying. Mu Chen also sighed. He knew that what his father said was mostly true. There were probably many humans that came to this place like the skeleton he met in the Black Eerie Swamp, due to greed over the past years. However, the skeleton was slightly luckier as he managed to escape, yet he still died due to his injuries being too severe. Then what should we do now? Donghua and the others wiped the cold sweat off their foreheads. It was still the first time for them meeting such a terrifying spiritual beast. The terror didn't just come from its strength, but also from how it was cunning and ruthless, like a human. Retreat! There wasn't the slightest hesitation in Mufang's voice. Don't even think about the Nine Netherworld Bird. Nobody in the northern spiritual realm will be able to capture this existence. We should immediately retreat while its attention is focused on the spiritual beasts. Yes, Donghua and the others let out a sigh of relief when they heard this. They could not see any hope in this bizarre situation. It would be a wise decision for them to leave as soon as possible. Mufang seemed to have made up his mind on giving up on the Nine Netherworld Bird. After he issued out the order, he waved his hand. A group of men quietly climbed up the cliff and cautiously headed out of the Black Basin. Big brother, the people from the Mu territory are retreating. The Liu territory was aware of the movement caused by the Mu territory, and Liu Ming shouted out quickly. Forget about them, Liu Qingtian said coldly. Something is wrong with the current situation. We would feel safer if they leave since we wouldn't have to remain alert against them. Then Liu Ming hesitated for a moment. In fact, he was also terribly afraid when he witnessed the scene in front of him. The mysterious black egg was too bizarre, and his instincts told him that it would be smarter for him to get as far away as possible. Just wait a little longer. Signs of struggling could be seen within Liu Qingtian's eyes. However, he still gritted his teeth and said these words. The temptation of the Nine Netherworld Bird was too great. If he was able to obtain it, even if the possibility was extremely small, he would instantly become the lord of the northern spiritual realm. Lu Ming and Liu Zong exchanged gazes with each other and nodded. They had prepared a long time for this plan. If they were to leave now, they wouldn't be willing to accept it. Just when the Mu territory was quietly retreating and the Liu territory was remaining there without giving up, thousands of spiritual beasts in the Black Basin turned into bones from the black sound wave. The numerous light rainbows in the sky whistled out, and eventually all of them were sucked into the mysterious black egg. When the final light rainbow was sucked in, the world seemed to have become unusually quiet. Crack. During this silence, a sudden cracking sound rang out. It was not loud, but the Liu territory and the Mu territory seemed to have been shocked by lightning. Then all their eyes fixed itself onto the mysterious black egg in fear. They could see that subtle cracks actually emerged on the surface of the black egg. As the cracks emerged, black flames surged out and wrapped the mysterious black egg completely. When the bizarre black flame rushed out, the spiritual aura in the world seemed to show signs of boiling. Cold sweat seemed to drip down Mufang's face slowly. His voice became hoarse as he said, "The Nine Netherworld Bird seems to be coming out." Just when he finished saying those words, a cry rang out in the world from the mysterious black egg. A black flame instantly enveloped the sky like a storm. The cracks on the surface of the black light egg were becoming increasingly concentrated. Then with a final crisping sound, it burst open. As the black flames became increasingly violent, Muchen and the others were somewhat shocked to see a pair of black wings that could cover a mountain stretching out from within the flames. The black flames continued to scorch the sky. Muchen and the others could vaguely see a huge shadow within the monstrous flames. It was elegantly stretching its large body as if it was resurrecting from nirvana, like a phoenix rebirthing from flames. A horrifying spiritual energy pressure also emitted out at this moment. It caused the spiritual aura within the world to boil. Is this the Nine Netherworld Bird? Muchen watched in shock at the massive creature stretching its body elegantly in the monstrous black flames. Although he was not able to see its appearance clearly, the somewhat vague outline already feels amazing. This fluctuation, Mufang kept a close eye at the vague outline and immediately gulped. This spiritual energy pressure probably wasn't something that a Three Heavens stage powerhouse could compare with. They actually had a wishful thinking of capturing this sort of existence. It was truly ridiculous. Hurry and run! Mufang took a deep breath and gathered all the drool he had within his heart. He let out a cry and prepared to retreat no matter what. However, just when Mufang urged his people to retreat, thunder sounds rang out in the sky. They looked up and suddenly froze. A black thunder cloud abruptly gathered above the black flames in the sky. Moreover, they could faintly feel that there was a black lightning dragon quietly surging within the thundercloud. A destructive energy emitted out from the black thundercloud. This is the divine black thundercloud? Mufang stared at the black thundercloud and his eyes instantly narrowed. He could not help saying these words out as he suppressed the horror within his voice. Divine black thundercloud? Mu Chen was stunned. Mu Feng took a deep breath and suppressed the shock within his heart as he muttered, "The Nine Netherworld Bird actually hasn't given up yet. It is still attempting to evolve." That wraps up the content for today's episode. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel to get notifications for the next episode. For now, goodbye, and see you next time.